Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to allow everyone to have a moment to take their seats, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome to the inaugural Equity in Academic Achievement Award Dinner and Fundraiser. I'm so thrilled to have you all. My name is Nordia Johnson, and I serve as the Director of Academic Achievement Programs here at Stockton University. In that role, I have the distinct pleasure of working with Black and Brown students specifically to bridge equity gaps all across the institution. I get to work with all the beautiful young people in the crowd this evening and those who are online. And I have the privilege of ensuring that they have the resources they need, not only to do the bare minimum, but to thrive, to be able to engage in high impact practices, the types of things that are going to get them ready for success beyond Stockton. Because we know when they walk out of here, this is just the beginning, right? And so this evening, I would like to thank you all for joining us, not only to celebrate them, but to ensure that we can support them financially. So to my left, I'd like to bring your attention to our dip jars. They're quite fancy and fun. They give us the opportunity to support students in this event. If you are here and you'd like to donate to the High Impact Practice Fund here at Stockton, you can go over to the table on my left at any time during the evening and donate anywhere upwards of $25. So we have two dip jars. One is set at $25 and one at $100. That doesn't mean that you can only give $25 or $100. That means that you can dip more than once on each of those, okay? So again, I'm here to ensure that you all are ready to have a good time, to celebrate our students, and ensure that throughout this evening we enjoy each other's company. So without further ado, I'm gonna turn things over to our Master of Ceremony, Mr. Marcus Johnson, Director of Residential Education and Student Services. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson. Good evening, everyone. All right, this is supposed to be a celebratory occasion. It's supposed to be fun and festive, so we can try it again. Good evening, everyone. There you go. I know the masks make it slightly difficult, but we can certainly get through it. My name is Marcus Johnson. I'm the Director for Residential Education and Student Services, and it gives me great joy to be able to stand before you tonight on this very special evening. We are excited with the program that we have prepared for you. We have some wonderful speakers and some wonderful awards we're going to be giving to our students, and so I hope you are all just as excited as I am. And so I know it might be just a little chilly tonight, but one way we can get things warmed up is we can start by just giving a big round of applause for the evening and just right. Sometimes when we move our hands, it just helps to get the blood flowing, all right? So as I said, we have some speakers lined up, and we're going to get the evening started with our Associate Vice President for Academic Affairs and Chief Academic Officer for Atlantic City, Dr. Michelle Mcdonald.
Good evening, everyone. And first, let me thank you for coming this evening. I realize it's a bit chilly, and I appreciate that you're taking a Friday evening and spending it with all of us. On behalf of the Office of the President, it is my very great pleasure to extend congratulations to Stockton students of colors here tonight and to commend you for all that you've done to succeed, not only in your academic programs, but also in positions of leadership. It is especially remarkable, of course, how much you've done and how far you've come during this most trying of years. Tonight is about you. You who have overcome personal and academic challenges. You who celebrate as leaders and exemplars in engaging your peers in high-impact practices, and you who have evinced a commitment to advancing equity and racial justice on our campus. This has been a year of profound and important conversation in the nation and in the state, and certainly at our university, as we grapple with questions of equity and inclusion, where we do well, and as importantly, perhaps even more importantly, where we fail to do so yet. But acknowledging problems is only the first step. Now comes the harder work of addressing those concerns and finding ways forward to combat them. And a fund set up to support students' participation in high-impact practices, which is what we are supporting this evening, is exactly one of those ways forward. So I hope that you will embrace it. High-impact practices too often, research with faculty, internships, or service learning or community-based projects are seen as in addition rather than central to the core academic mission of colleges and universities. And that despite the fact that time and time again, research shows the power of these experiences in keeping our students in school and graduating them with measurable and marked differences, with higher GPAs, with stronger connections to their campus and their communities, and with opportunities for success, as Dr. Johnson mentioned, beyond graduation. These are not benefits that should be limited to a few. These are strategies that must be available to and embraced by all. Such practices do more than impact you as students. They prepare you to make a high impact on the world around you, something that all of you have the potential to do, and that some of you are being acknowledged tonight for doing already. I look forward to learning more about your stories, your accomplishments, and your goals. And if yours is not one of the names called this evening, I look forward to hearing it called next year, or the year after, or the year after that. All of you have the potential to make a high impact. Our goal as a university is to help you realize it. Thank you, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mcdonald. So here at Stockton University, we're always excited that we get to celebrate our students. In the Division of Student Affairs, we go by the motto, students first, and we know the importance of being able to honor them, to recognize them for their hard work and their achievements. And we would be remiss if we had any program where we didn't give them the opportunity to take center stage. So I'm going to present to you 3 students, and they'll come up without introduction, but we're happy they are here to share with us today. And so in order of appearance, we're going to hear from Ms. Elise Thompson, Mr. Brian Audiambo, and Mr. Niall Scott.
Sorry, my mask got hooked on my earrings. Ooh. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Elise Thompson, and I'm a third-year hospitality, tourism, and event management major. I hold the title of Lead Head Transition Activity Leader of New Students, or Lead Head Talents, under the Office of Student Transition Programs. And I also currently serve as one of the social justice interns under the Office of Academic Achievement Programs. In fall of 2020, I was named a recipient of the Board of Trustees Fellowship for Distinguished Student Awards. The goal of my project, made possible by this award, is to educate students on how the historical experience of African Americans has manifested and shaped the current experience of Black people in America. I originally wanted to take students to the National Museum of African American History and Culture in Washington, D.C. during spring break. However, due to COVID, the museum was no longer an option. Instead of giving up the project, I decided to curate an exhibit of my own here on campus titled See Us, the African American Experience. My hope for this incomplete collection of Black history in America is that overall the Stockton community will be able to experience this exhibit and as a direct result be able to have open, informed conversation that inspires individuals to continue learning on their own, take action aligning with social justice initiatives, and come together to make lasting change within our community. While I still have the mic, I would just like to take a little to talk about how engaging in this high-impact practice opportunity and others such as my internship allows me to be part of the change we all want to see in the world. It allows me to close equity gaps by increasing the number of students who look like me that engage in these kinds of opportunities that make it more likely for us Black and brown kids to acquire the success we're all in college striving for. So thank you especially to those who donated and offered sponsorship for making even more opportunities like these possible for students from marginalized backgrounds. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Hi, my name is Brian Odhiambo, and I'm currently a junior here at Stockton. And this is my third semester here, and my second year in the United States. I transferred here last year from Nairobi, Kenya, and here's a little bit of introduction about how I got here. So growing up, I used to love watching Cartoon Networks, and I remember as a child, around 6 or 7 years of age, I'd watch like shows like Dexter's Laboratory, and in between the commercials, there'll be like these children, I'll see my age, and then they were playing with Lego toys, and they had action figures. And I remember like bringing this subject to my mom, and I was like, "Hey, Mom, could I get an action figure?" And she said no. She said the only money that she had was like to make sure I had a proper education. And as a child, that really broke my heart. But one thing I knew is that at that moment, I had to like find a way to have like to get what I want, even if I couldn't have it. So I decided to innovate. So I would take my mother's pegs, and then I would try to like make action figures with them. I'm trying to make Lego blocks with them. As you know, back home we still like air out our clothes using pegs. We don't have dryers. So my mom would always be like, "Hey, you're ruining my pegs." But for some reason, she always saw that the innovation in me, and she just kept on egging me on. And she was like, "Whatever you do in this life, you should tell me. Don't let nothing deter you from achieving your goals." And at that point, I would also go to like construction sites, and I would see like sand, and then I would start playing with the sand over there, trying to build my own like castle. And then I would like take boxes and say, "This is my choo-choo train," because I never like I always wanted these electric trains that kids used to have, but we couldn't afford it. But I would always like make sure I improvise so that I can just achieve my dreams. So fast forward, I was able to come here at Stockton last year, and I finished my spring semester, and then during the summer, COVID happened, and that's when things took the worst. My mom wasn't getting paid, and then I'm in a foreign country, and it was just hard, like getting by. And I think through divine intervention, I was able to like meet Dr. Johnson, and that's through her I was able to learn more about high impacts. And at that point, she identified she's like my second mom. She identified the innovation in me, and I discussed with her the things which are happening right now in the country, in regards to like racial equality and social justice. And I told her about my project, the Mclean AI project. And I told her I named it the Mclean AI project after Elijah Mclean, because when I saw him getting killed, I saw myself, because I'm mostly like an introvert. I don't like I'm not that outgoing. I always tend to keep myself just in my room and coding. And when he said that I'm an introvert, and they still like choked him and injected ketamine, it really like it really hurt me, because I felt like that was me. And I decided to create this project of mine and name it after him in his memory. So what is the Mclean AI project? So the Mclean AI project is a system whereby there's a database, because I noticed that police officers always have like body cameras, and those body cameras is what whatever happens is always recorded in those body cameras. So I shared with Dr. Johnson and I told her, what if there's a way I could create a database that live streams what's happening within those body cameras? So in case something happens, like this, like a warning or something. So I decided to construct a database and just took a sample size of 4 streams for to represent 4 officers on the field. And then I know most administrators always can't spend the whole day looking at the cameras. So I decided to create an artificial intelligence system that can loop through the cameras, and in case a police officer is doing something inappropriate, the AI can alert the person who's an administrator, and the administrator can come and intervene, can maybe radio the police officer through the I think it's the walkie-talkie, or maybe call another dispatch to come and de-escalate the situation so that no one gets to lose their lives. So right now I'm just gonna head straight to the prototype, and maybe I can do a demo presentation, and you can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, so here's the homepage. So the user can just I made this for a particular police station. So I decided to use maybe Atlantic County as my sample. So a police administrator can be this is what the police administrator will see. And all he has to do is just enter his name and maybe the department's password. So I'll just enter it. 1 second. Then after entering it, now the AI will take over, and we will be able to see live streams. And then in case of anything, the AI will warn us what's happening, and the next step forward will be taken. So once I sign in, I just click enter.
Welcome to the Mclean AI Livestream database. I am Mira, your humanoid artificial intelligence assistant. I am a creation of Brian Odiambo, a junior at Stockton University. I am happy to be of service to you. Now allow me to go over the live footage as shown on your screen. I am designed to assess various situations from the live feed and issue recommendations on the necessary steps for de-escalation. Should there be any unusual activities, I will notify you immediately. There are currently 6 active police officers on duty today at Atlantic County. Attention! Officer Alexander Shakowski, badge number K180988653 from the 4th video footage, is exerting a lot of force on an unarmed civilian. Urgent intervention is advised.
So you can see the police officer is pointing the trigger at the individual, and putting his... You can see the individual is unarmed, so the AI is telling you which number it is and who's the police officer and what his badge number is. So as an administrator, all you have to do is just... You have the details, you can just call in the police officer through the walkie-talkie or send another dispatch to come and de-escalate that situation so that that unarmed individual doesn't get to be harassed like that. And that was the point of my innovation. So in a closing remark, I want to thank everybody for attending here, for this event. And I just want to say that I'm glad to be here, and your participation and involvement in the high impact practices enables the security of my future so that I may be able to go on and create more innovations that can make the world a better place. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Niall Scott, and I'm a first-year student here at Stockton. And, we are all here tonight in jubilation to celebrate the excellence of our Black and brown students. I would like to recite a poem by the great Tupac Shakur called "The Rose That Grew from Concrete." This poem is special to me. And I hope that it resonates well with you all as well. Did you hear about the rose that grew from the crack in the concrete? Proving nature's law wrong and learn to walk without having feet. Funny it seems, but by keeping its dreams, it learned to breathe fresh air. Long live the rose that grew from the concrete when no one else ever cared. So this poem inspired me to write my own spoken word for today's event. To the roses blooming in darkness, forced to sprout and figure it all out regardless, aware of their beauty and conscious of their sharpness, I applaud you for continuing to grow and to proceed to achieve, ever so driven by the need to succeed. Good job to my brothers and sisters for their displays of academic excellence, for excelling beyond all of the odds that we are up against. I commend you for showing grit and keeping your vision tunnel, and using your voice and leading when it would be so easy to mumble. You stayed strong and stayed consistent when it would be so easy to crumble. And instead of running away from your adversities, you've embraced the struggles. Deserving of the highest praise and recognition, nobody can get in the way of your dreams when you are driven with ambition. So as Black and brown students, we confront different odds or forms of oppression, and you have all broken those stigmas and rose above the metaphorical concrete of the world. And for that, I would like to just finish by saying congratulations. Thank you.
Wow, we could do better than that. That was phenomenal, all three of them. What talented students we have here at this institution. Thank you all for sharing with us tonight. We're going to continue on. Up next, we have our keynote speaker, Mr. Terry King, who comes with an extensive resume. I've heard so many wonderful things about him, and I'll share just a little before he comes on. I know we're excited. I'm excited too. So, Mr. King comes with 25 years of experience in law enforcement. He oversees the following units: the Special Victims Unit, the High Tech Crimes Unit, the Domestic Violence Unit, the Megan's Law Unit, the Victim Witness Unit. He was formerly in charge of the Homicide Unit and Narcotics Unit, where he served as both detective and later supervisor. Currently, he's the captain of detectives for the Camden County Prosecutor's Office. He also has 17 years as a faculty member and adjunct professor. Currently, he teaches at Rowan University and Eastern University. He is a New Jersey State Certified Instructor for Police Training Commissioner of New Jersey. He completed his undergraduate studies here at Stockton University, his graduate work at St. Joseph's University, and currently pursuing his doctorate in organizational leadership here at Stockton. He's a proud member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Join me in welcoming Mr. Terry King.
That was an awesome introduction, by the way. Dr.-elect. We learned that in our first semester here at our doctoral program in Stockton. Candidate, soon to be, hopefully. So I want to be, let me see if I can get myself situated here. I had a planned speech that I worked on after consulting with Dr. Johnson. But I'm a big advocate on adapting and adjusting to my surroundings and to situations that present themselves in the spur of the moment. And I gotta be honest with you, after hearing Brian's speech, I was moved and touched to somewhat alter my speech to you, to somewhat tailor it a little bit more to where Brian was going. I can't pronounce his last name. I asked him 4 times. He told me 4 times, and yet still here I can't pronounce the last name. So he said I can call him Brian, so we're good with that. But I want to make sure that in addition to my planned speech, in terms of what I'll talk about my title, that I also at some point intertwine and touch on what Brian touched on, because as you know, my background is in law enforcement. I've been a law enforcement officer for 25 years now. I can retire October 1st, 2021. This speech, in some respects, is very unique and special to me because it's not the first time my wife heard me speak. I speak a lot. I do a lot of speaking engagements, and I love that. This is my passion. But this is the first time my 5-month-old daughter, Chloe, has heard me speak. And so I'm extremely excited. This is very refreshing to me. So not to deviate from what our theme here tonight is, I'll move on. But Brian, if I forget, because I'm older than you, remind me to bring back and talk about what we talked about over there. So my speech tonight is the first step towards a bigger picture. And what I mean by that is when you accomplish or you achieve your goals, that doesn't mean it stops there. There's a bigger picture. You have to. It's not an option. You have to turn around and give back. So in the context when I make reference or mention to turning around or giving back or the bigger picture, I'm referring to giving back. Now, I am a person of color, much like many of you in this audience, okay? And I fully understand, trust me, I do, working in law enforcement, part of my dip topic. I fully understand the challenges that you may face that are different than your counterparts, that you have to overcome in terms of these respectful obstacles. That may not be a challenge to your counterparts, but I want to employ you with this actual strategy. I make it a practice every day to speak affirmations to not only myself, but to my wife and my 5-month-old daughter. Now, in some respects, that could be a bit daunting because you're like, well, I got school, I got work, I got my family, I got this and I don't have time, Mr. King, Professor King to some people, Captain King to others, to speak affirmations. So here's a strategy I want to give out to you for free. I'm not going to charge you for this. I want to give this to you as a practice that you can use that may help you like it helps me. So about 4 or 5 years ago, what I did was I changed all of my passwords to my logins, to my laptop, to my computer, to my Stockton student ID, to my Rowan ID, to my Eastern University ID, all to reflect words of affirmations. So I have a password that's goals. I have a password that's change, including numbers. I have a password that's impact. I have a password, literally, and I know you're gonna find this hard to believe, seriously, giving back, whatever numbers. Because I want to make sure there's a constant reminder whenever I get at that point, what you all do, I get tired, you get tired, that I am still reaffirming those words that I need to keep myself pushing and pushing to give back to others so that I'm not just stagnant, because we all get to that point, right? So try that. I'm not encouraging you to go change your passwords today or tomorrow. I know we all get our little reminders. Stockton sends me a lot, by the way, like, oh, you're 26 days out. I'm like, okay, I'll get it. No, but I get it. But when you do, make sure, or just attempt it. Let's see how it works. Give it a trial period, 3 or 4 months, and it's a daily reminder that you are doing something towards pushing your goals and giving back to those who are less fortunate and or those who are not in the same position you are. So on those lines, in terms of giving back, I want to share, if I can, for a couple of minutes. I know my time is limited here, and I can talk a lot, trust me. I'll have you guys here till like 10, 11 o'clock tonight. No, I'm joking. That was a joke. Thank you, I love that, thanks. I love that. So I want to share a story with you. So as I mentioned earlier, I was a police instructor or an instructor at the police academy a few years ago. I recently gave that position up as I ascended to other positions. And somewhere between 8 to 10 years ago, I was teaching at the police academy, and I was teaching this class entitled Cultural Diversity, where the purpose and the basis of that class was to instruct police recruits who would later become police officers in your respective communities on how to respect cultural diversity. I don't even need that anymore. So the objective, or one of the performance objectives, were to instruct them on how, when you encounter certain people, i.e. people of African American descent who are a matriarchic society based, in some respects you need to speak to the mother or the grandmother or the mom or the G-mom or the grandma, whatever you want to call yourself, of the house first. So during the course of that instruction, I put out something that I typically put out to all of my recruits. And I said to them, I said, listen, when you have these police encounters, when you become police officers, here's a way, and this is all in the height of all of the incidents, tragic outcomes, lethal outcomes of the police officers who dishonor their badge by doing things to the contrary of what they took an oath to do. I can go on and on and on about a number of incidents that occurred. So I said to them, if you want to sincerely, because sincere is a very important word in policing, because you can just say and do something and talk the talk, but talk the talk and walk the talk. If you want to sincerely assure that you are not doing something to someone in that regard, then it's a simple fix. And I know coming from a professor, we don't like to use the word simple, but I suggest it to my police recruits, it's a simple fix. If you treat everyone you encounter via your law enforcement encounter or relate encounter as your family member, I assure you, 100% certainty that you will not treat them disrespectfully, you will not treat them unlawfully, and you will treat them fairly and justly. Because there is no way in the world you are going to kneel on a person that resembles and or looks like your uncle for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. It will not happen. So, fast forwarding, more recent than not, about a month and a half ago, I didn't realize that speech, that message I had given several times over would resonate with someone. A month or so ago, I had a conversation with my wife. A police officer recruit, white male police officer in that class, called me up. Now, I had conversations with him intermittently over the past couple of years. He was a police officer, he got promoted to detective. And, I'm in administration now, so, I saw him a couple of times. And I don't recognize his number. Typically, I don't answer the phone when I don't recognize your number, but it was on business hours, so I did. Ordinarily, I would bang on him, if you will. I know that's what you guys say. But I answered, and he said, "Is this Captain King?" I'm like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Oh, here we go. One of these telemarketing dudes." I'm like, "Dude, I sold my timeshare 2 years ago. Stop calling me." But it was him. So he said, "You spoke at my police academy a few years ago." And I'm like, "I haven't taught since 2016, so it's more than a few." But he's not an academic like me, so he doesn't really know how to compute. So he says, "Yeah, and you gave a message that really sat with me, man, and it really moved me." And I'm like, "Okay." So the whole time I'm trying to pretend like I know who he is. I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, great. How you been doing? How's the family?" And he was like, "You made a mention of a phrase in a conversation that made me humanize people versus objectifying people." So I work in Camden. I'm a Camden cop, and he caught on that I had no idea who he was. He was like, "You don't know who I am." So I'm a Camden cop, and you taught me, and he said, "I remember your message about that." And he said, "It stuck with me." And he said, "I haven't had one incident where I haven't looked at someone differently than I look at them as my family members." And I'm like, "All right, so where are you going with this, dude? Because I'm working. You have to get me." So then, to bring this conversation full circle, he was like, "My wife and I were mapping out our guest list for our wedding in September." My wife's right there if you want to do a fact check. And he was like, "I want to invite you to my wedding." Wow, okay, it's impactful. I accept it. So you're probably wondering where you're going with this. I'm going where this, that you never know how impactful a simple message or a redundant message or a message you said over and over again is going to impact someone. So I implore you to continue to speak these things into existence to others when you're struggling. And I'm going to leave you with this. When you are struggling and when you meet these encounters, these obstacles that will, in some respects, get in your way from accomplishing your goals, I want you to do 4 things. And I'm bringing this to a close. I know I'm way over my time, right? 4 things. I want you to push. What? Push harder. And then when you achieve and accomplish your goals, I want you to turn back around and pull others in by giving back, showing them what you did to get over those accomplishments, and also about pushing harder to where you are now. And that is the key and first step to achievement towards the bigger picture. Thank you. I wish you all the very best. God bless you all.
Was that well received? Thank you, Dr. Soon to be, Terry King. Thank you so much. I hope you guys are enjoying the evening thus far. I am back with you to bring us to the reason we're all here this evening, to celebrate our awardees. And I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the phenomenal faculty and staff members who cared enough to take a few minutes out of their days to nominate each of these phenomenal students. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce each award, and then I'm going to go ahead and call up the presenters who will then identify the awardee for each category. The Academic Excellence Award is the first category of this evening, and these are our students of color who have managed to achieve a 3.7 GPA or higher. These students not only were tasked with achieving this phenomenal GPA, but they had to demonstrate that they overcame some obstacles, whether personal, structural, social, or otherwise, in order to be in the spaces that they are today. And so with that, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce the first presenter of the evening, who is going to be identifying the two winners in the categories of academic excellence. Dr. Tina Zapil and Dr. Christine Gata.
Hello. I'm thrilled to be here to elevate the winners, and the winner in particular, the first one of the Academic Excellence Award, which is Miriam Eskander. Congratulations, Miriam. I've known Miriam for her entire undergraduate career here at Stockton, and I want to provide a couple of examples of why she earned this award. First of all, she's carried a 4.0 GPA her entire career. Very impressive. With a very challenging schedule, I will add, often with 5 classes. So Miriam's research in particular, I think, elevates her as an excellent student here on campus. One of her research projects was titled Ethnic Fractionalization and Government Effectiveness, where she used an advanced regression analysis to test the relationship between ethnic fractionalization and the ability of a government to deliver rule of law across 150 countries. Her literature review and her analysis was at graduate level, and it was one of the best papers that I have seen over my last 8 years here at Stockton. Another example of Miriam's academic excellence was her independent research project, for which she earned a Distinguished Student Award, supervised by one of my colleagues who will be presenting another award shortly. That independent research project focused on the extent to which the NRA participates in transnational advocacy networks, which is a highly relevant and salient topic in order to identify their patterns and networks and how they communicate globally in order to put pressure locally and at the national level here in the United States. The level of original research that she conducted over the summer for this project demonstrates Miriam's commitment to academic excellence, as well as interrogating difficult political questions that she would like to use to advance change in that area in particular. And I'll close by adding that Miriam was an active member of Model UN and served on the executive board during her entire undergraduate career. Throughout her experience here at Stockton, Miriam seeks opportunities to expand her learning beyond the classroom and has fully taken advantage of those experiences. She's intrinsically driven to succeed and ensures that the people around her do as well, which is as equally as important as elevating her own status as an excellent student. So it is with great pleasure that I congratulate Miriam, and I will turn it over to the next presentee. Thank you very much.
So unfortunately, many of our students received the COVID vaccine yesterday evening. And Miriam is one of our students who is experiencing some side effects. So she is joining us virtually. Miriam, we know that you can hear and see us, so congratulations from all of us here in the audience.
Good evening. Diana Ramirez is a senior at Stockton University pursuing a psychology degree with a mental health concentration and is aspiring to be a child psychologist. She became a Stockton student in July of 2017 as part of the EOF program. She is a very proud first-generation student, and she has been on Dean's List every semester. Diana has also served as a teaching assistant in 2 classes and a research assistant, assisting with a study on COVID-19 beliefs and coping. Diana was inducted in Psy-Chi, the International Honor Society of Psychology, in 2020. She also received the Albert and Lenore Kramer Scholarship for the 2020-21 academic year. She recently completed mental health first aid training at Stockton. In addition, her faculty members very proudly in the Department of Psychology describe her as very bright, conscientious, engaged, and detail-oriented. She has worked hard amid many struggles and has accepted many responsibilities for her family. I can tell you she is currently a student in my neuropsychology class. She has the highest grade out of 70 students with an average grade of 100. And she always is on Zoom and interacting, making it a lot easier for those faculty who just look at black boxes. So we are very proud of Diana Ramirez. Congratulations.
Congratulations to Diana, and thank you, Dr. Gaeta. Diana is also one of our students attending virtually, as we are, again, still in the midst of side effects of COVID. At this time, it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the presenters of the awards in the category of Leadership in High Impact Practices. As we've been discussing all evening, we are here to talk about those students who are not only excelling in the classroom, but they are going out into the community and into spaces beyond the classroom to ensure that they engage in internships, study abroad opportunities, undergraduate research, and others. And these students particularly aren't only engaging, but they are pulling their peers along. As Mr. King mentioned in his keynote, these are the students who are ensuring that their peers know how to also engage in high impact practices. Because it is not just about your sole academic achievements and success, but it's about all of us collectively. So with that, I would like to invite Ms. Candace Mitchell, and back up for a second time, Dr. Tina Zapil, who will introduce the winners of the award within the category of Leadership in High Impact Practices. And please, as you've been doing throughout the evening, direct your attention to the monitor, as we will continue to congratulate all of our nominees and not just our awardees.
Hi, everyone. All right, so this student not only has a 4.0 GPA, and I fact-checked that very recently, but impressively balances managing her academics with co-curricular experiences such as service learning through the Bonners program. She has shown a strong commitment to increasing access to high-impact practice opportunities to our diverse populations on campus. Divya is a leader of leaders. both in her job title as a head talents and in the way that she carries herself. She's committing her time to tutoring communities of color in K-12. She helps fellow Bonner leaders tackle social justice issues in their service learning projects. She's participated in the Bonners program this past year while serving as a head talent and helping the Office of Student Transition Programs prepare to orient, welcome, and mentor thousands of new students to the Stockton community. We are grateful that we get to witness the amazing work that she's doing for the community and the tremendous contributions that she's made to new students as a talent. Divya is humble, she is creative, and she always shows great passion for increasing inclusion and belonging across her multiple dimensions of work. She was the first person that came to mind when learning about the Leadership in HIP's award category, and she certainly deserves the honor. So congratulations, Divya.
Hello again. I have the pleasure of recognizing Xavier Dennis as an award winner for leadership in high impact practices. Xavier is a criminal justice student here at Stockton. And Xavier has demonstrated leadership throughout Model UN. In 2018, Xavier was selected in a campus-wide competitive process to represent Stockton in Xi'an, China. And there, Xavier had a big job to represent the country of the United States in 2018 in China while we were engaged in a trade war with a president that was less receptive of elevating students of color or professionals of color, to be frank. And Xavier took on that challenge with great commitment to professionalism, and he and his partner put into their conference experience incredible commitment to their research, strategy, and writing, and the outcome was impressive, and their hard work showed. And it was through Xavier's leadership that their team overcame the challenges that they were faced at that time. Xavier also played a key role in leading Model UN to partner with Alpha Kappa Alpha, Inc. Theta Kappa Omega Chapter, with Diane Stalling here in the audience. Oh, thank you. So he helped partner in 2017 to host a one-day event for local high school students to mark UN Day on October 24th. And in this role, Xavier collaborated with other Stockton students to develop a one-day program and also to mentor students during the one-day program. They served as moderators, they partnered with high school students to demonstrate how to carry out research, how to write speeches, and how to negotiate complex issues with people who do not agree with you. And Xavier excelled in this role and was instrumental in its success. And in fact, the local AKA chapter received an award for this event. And overall, Xavier has demonstrated quiet leadership during his last 4 years at Stockton, consistently committed to recruiting students of color into not only his particular student club, but to other high-impact practices that were available through student development and academic affairs. And his trajectory at Stockton has also been impressive. He is self-aware and committed to succeeding, and as I said with my previous presentation, also committed to the success of those around him. So congratulations, Xavier.
Congratulations to the awardees in the category of Leadership in High Impact Practices. Our next category is Leadership in Equity and Racial Justice. The reason we are all here this evening, Advance in Equity and Racial Justice. These are students who not only excel in the classroom, who not only engage in high impact practices, but does work on campus to ensure that both them as students and their peers are working towards the collective advancement of the communities that are marginalized among us. And so without further ado, I'm going to invite the presenters who will be announcing the winners in a category of leadership in in equity and racial justice. Dr. Lauren Velasco, and following her, Dr. Christina Mazzori.
Good evening, everyone. I'm very grateful to be here, and thank you, Dr. Johnson, for organizing this beautiful event. Last summer, shortly before he passed away, the great late Congressman John Lewis wrote an essay that was published posthumously in the New York Times. Congressman Lewis wrote, quote, "When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. Democracy is not a state. It is an act, and each generation must do its part to help build what we call the beloved community, a nation and world society at peace with itself." It is that ethos that captures the spirit and values of this year's recipient of the Leadership in Equity and Racial Justice Award, Ms. Danielle V. Combs. In the past few years, I've had the privilege to serve as Danielle's academic advisor and teacher at Stockton University. And through our exchanges and work together, I've learned two things about Danielle. First, Danielle does not decouple her pursuit for academic excellence and intellectual rigor from her political engagement and stewardship in the community. Danielle believes that with an education comes great responsibility. It is not enough to be in a classroom to discuss the ethical and legal conceptions of justice, or debate what constitutes a democracy, or study the corrosive impacts of racism at home and around the world. So, in addition to being a member of Pi Sigma Alpha, the Political Science National Honor Society, on the Dean's List, Danielle has also served, and on the Dean's List, Danielle has served as the Administrative Director of the NAACP New Jersey State Conference and is President of the Stockton University NAACP Student Chapter. She currently serves as an intern for the National Legal Aid and Defender Association in Washington, D.C., and she is also a social justice intern for the Office of Academic Achievement here at Stockton. And I must emphasize that these are just a few examples of what she has accomplished on campus. This leads to the second thing I've learned about Danielle, that her metrics for success are measured by the health, strength, and well-being of her family and community. In June of last year, Danielle organized the Juneteenth March for Justice at Stockton University, where over 400 were in attendance, and students' voices were amplified and heard by the campus community. This past October, Danielle was also a co-organizer and panelist for an event sponsored by the American Democracy Project, where she, along with other students, reflected on protesting as an important form of political engagement, or as Congressman Lewis referred to as good trouble. So tonight, I want to thank Danielle for the time, energy, and love she has invested at Stockton University and for our country. We are a better community because of her. Congratulations, Danielle.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I'm Christina Meritzi, the head women's lacrosse coach here at Stockton University. I want to thank you all for allowing me to be part of such an amazing event, and congratulations to everyone here who has won an award and everyone here who is participating in it. I have the honor of presenting the Leadership in Equity and Racial Justice Award to Ms. Christina Mitchell. Christina has been part of my team for 4 years now. Tomorrow we play our last regular season game against Rutgers Camden. She, along with 5 others, will be honored as our graduating seniors and captains. In the 4 years I've known Christina, which right now feels very short, she has been an athlete who you want on your team every year. Shows up on time, prepares herself for the task at hand, hardworking, motivated, does well academically, and much, much more. Little did I know how much more Christina was doing by just being herself. Being a part of a sport which is predominantly made up of white females is such a huge success alone. The mountains she has moved by being a huge part of showing younger women that you can be good at sports and you can do well academically at the same time, while also being a part of many clubs and movements is something very special. Christina is a part of our Ospreys Against Depression team here in athletics, where she and other athletes and coaches discuss ways to bring awareness and change, not to just our team, but the whole athletic department here at Stockton, the university itself, and everywhere that needs it. I am so proud of everything Christina does because she does it with her whole being. 2 feet on the gas. It's an honor to have coached her for 4 years, but I'm the lucky one who has learned much more from Christina about racial issues and how to be a true leader. Congratulations, Christina Mitchell, on a well-deserved award.
Congratulations, Christina and Danielle. And for our final category of awards tonight, Outstanding Multicultural Club Award. We here at Stockton have some phenomenal clubs and organizations ran by our students. There are so many, particularly within this category, that could have been nominated and could have been spoken about tonight. What we are here celebrating in this category is those clubs and organizations that not only embrace their own culture, but embrace that of others. These are the organizations that together as a collective group of students advances racial justice and equity in the events that they put on, in the fundraisers that they put together, in their club meetings behind closed doors. These are the clubs and organizations within our campus community that rally students to move us towards a better campus community and society for all of us. And so without further ado, I'm going to invite Ms. Diane Stollen, who will present the winner of our Multicultural Club Award.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to say congratulations to all of the honorees and to all of the recipients, because you are all worthy. Founded in 1909 in response to the ongoing violence against the Black people across the country, the NAACP is the largest and most preeminent civil rights organization in the nation. The mission is to secure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights to eliminate race-based discrimination and ensure the health and well-being of all. Our Stockton University NAACP student chapter has just recently been reactivated at the February National Board meeting and is up to 61 members, student members, on our Osprey Hub. Our officers have worked hard, endured long meetings every other Monday for their e-board and every other Monday for their regular meetings. I know, because I'm on those calls. Our officers have worked hard to achieve reactivation status, and they were all just recently installed earlier this month. The student organization has been at the forefront of social justice, leading and organizing marches, hosting programs and panels centered on many different topics, including racial injustices and even Black mental health. The student leaders have worked together to make sure that their activism is heard throughout their work. The student chapter is led by our own Madam President Danielle Combs. And her executive board includes Vice President Serena Quick, Second Vice President Sabrina Clement, Third Vice President Dominique Williams, Secretary Tricia Angol, Assistant Secretary Adam Pickett, and Treasurer Sienna McCabe. The visors are Louise Neblett and yours truly. However, this award belongs to the student, so come on up. I'm proud of them. I wasn't supposed to do this. They called on me, and I'm ready. Danielle, I'm so proud of you.
Congratulations to the NAACP. How can I come up here after Miss Diane Stalin? Well, we know that technology sometimes fails us, and unfortunately there was a slight mix-up, and Miss Diana Ramirez is actually here this evening. And I would be hugely remiss if we did not recognize her, one of our awardees in the category of leadership in high impact practices. Diana Ramirez, please join me in receiving your award. And again, can we have a round of applause for all our awardees this evening? And our nominees, whose names are too many to call, but some of them are in the audience and some are with us virtually. Congratulations, and please continue to do this important work, not only for yourselves, but for those of your peers who are watching you and being inspired by you without you even knowing. And at this time, I have a special treat for all of us. Miss Lillian Nickens and Dr. Beverly Vaughn. And Roy. I was getting to Roy. Excuse me. And Mr. Roy Cook have put together a musical rendition for us as we come to the close of our evening. So at this time, please allow me to introduce three of Stockton's most talented faculty and student peers.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. There we go. I know it's cold, so I'm gonna just sing and get out of your way, but when coming up with a song for tonight, I come from a Christian background, so it's kind of hard for me to kind of pull away from my roots. But this song, even though it has a very, very gospel feel for it, the words are like so perfect for this event. There's mountains, there's things that we as students of color, because I'm a student here too, that we have to overcome. However, just because we have these obstacles in front of us doesn't mean that we have to give up where we are. All right? All right, thank you. So really quick. There will be mountains that I will have to climb, and there will be battles that I will have to fight, but victory or defeat, it's up to me to decide. But how can I expect to win if I never tried? I just can't give up now. We've come too far from where we started from, and nobody told I don't believe I've come this far to stop here. Never said there wouldn't be trials. Never said I wouldn't fall. Never said that everything would go the way we want them to go. But when my back is against the wall and I feel our hope is gone, I'll just lift our head up to the sky and say, help me to be strong. So I just can't give up now. We've come too far from where we started from, and nobody told me the road would be easy, and I don't believe we've come this far. I don't believe we come this far. I don't believe we come this far. I don't believe we've come this far to stop here.
Wow, thank you. Another round of applause. As we come to the close of our evening, I must say, working at Stockton has been an absolute pleasure, just to meet the students, the faculty, the staff, and again, to be here tonight to celebrate all of our students. We would be remiss if we didn't take a moment to really acknowledge our Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Chris Ketching, who has been instrumental in just providing such support. He is just a pillar of strength for us all here, and we are so delighted to have him. And I know that I echo the sentiments of many of my colleagues to say that Student Affairs is certainly a much better division because of him and his wonderful leadership. So join me in welcoming our Vice President, Dr. Chris Ketching.
Thank you, Mark. You're far too kind with words, man, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I won't keep y'all too long. It's a little nippy out here. It's your typical end of April weather, but I just want to say this has been an amazing program, and you know, I'm just awed by the accomplishments of our students and just the opportunity to highlight and elevate the many accomplishments that our students have. And where's the young man right here, man? I want to learn more about your project. Just amazing things, and the leadership that our students are doing, and the common thread that you see cut across all of it is that they are maintain high academic achievement while being social justice advocates in the community and being leaders in every space they're in, and that's extremely important. The things that you all have participated in during your tenure at Stockton are transformative, and I think you'll hear me say in a number of spaces, you know, that education is transformative and transferable, and the things that you're learning are things that you can teach other folks. I was just listening and thinking about exposure is also extremely important. Exposure is everything, and just the fact that folks are doing these amazing things, doing research with our brilliant faculty members here on campus, doing art exhibits, being active in their community and applying theory to practice in the community as social justice advocates. This is amazing things that really, I mean, you guys are so far ahead of the curve. And I think about this because many of our students that come into college are not thinking about these activities, because particularly your first generation students, right? If you haven't had folks in your family, your immediate circle who have done research or who have traveled to another country or done some of these different things, it's on us to be able to create those opportunities for students to participate in those types of activities. I always think back about my own experience, and I tell folks all the time what got me to study abroad. I was 31 years old at the end of my doctoral program. I had never been out of country. You know what got me to study abroad? I went to South Africa because I was writing letters of recommendation for students for years doing these amazing things. And what I marvel at is that you have an opportunity to do these things very early in your experience. they will certainly transform your life, but they also pay really tangible, concrete dividends in terms of your postgraduate experience. When you go out on your interviews for your first job and you have these talking points about some of these amazing experiences, those are the types of things that move you to the top of the list. When you have had the opportunity to do research, right? Those are the things that are going to prepare you to do a PhD or be admitted into graduate school. And so these things have really tangible, immediate benefits, and the experiences that you get from being leaders also are often the first skills that you draw upon in your first professional roles and things of that sort. So I just marvel at all of the great things that you all do. I'm extremely thankful for Dr. Johnson's vision on putting this together. And once upon a time, there was a young woman, I think her name is Dr. Johnson, who was kind of in this type of similar seat. And I recall that from way back when, who was doing a lot of these amazing things as a student. So she comes from an experience that prepared her to do this and to be in this space as well. And so I'd be remiss by not talking about that, because that's what our job as educators is about exposing students to opportunities, creating those lanes, and ensuring that students know all of the possibilities in front of them. So in any event, thank you so much for sharing your brilliance with us, and have a good evening.
Thank you, Dr. Katchen. And thank you to all of you for sticking with me. I recognize it's a bit chilly this evening, so thank you. So as we come to the close of our program, I have the pleasure of talking a bit about those who made this possible and those who will continue to support our students through their donations and sponsorships tonight and otherwise. But before I get there, I'd like to take a moment to once again recognize and congratulate all our awardees as well as our nominees. This evening, we've heard from some phenomenal students, starting with Miss Elise Thompson, Mr. Brian Odiambo, Mr. Niall Scott, and Miss Lillian Nickens. These students all reflect a part of my identity, a part of my experience when I was an undergraduate student. Lily is a first-gen student, one of the first who I had the opportunity to work with when I got to Stockton. You heard from Brian and a little bit about how I learned about just how innovative he truly was. We see that word on paper. And we talk about innovation, but I had the opportunity to speak with Brian, and I was blown away. Sometimes our students come into our offices, our classrooms, they walk through the halls of this college campus, and we have no idea what they bring with them. We have no idea the concrete situations that they come from, the obstacles, structural, personal, social, or otherwise, that they have to overcome to be here. But what we do see is that they remain resilient. What we do see is that they show up, oftentimes with a smile, without us even knowing what's behind that smile. And so this evening, I am so proud of each and every one of you. You make what we do as faculty, staff, and administrators so rewarding, so meaningful, so significant. And it is because of you why we continue to do this work. It is because of you that we're able to recognize that pouring into you is just an opportunity to allow you to go out into the world and pour into everyone else. And to ensure that what happens here this evening is only what you use to inspire your peers. It is a moment for you to recognize your excellence as Black and brown students. It is a moment to recognize as a campus community that we talk about the graduation rates and retention rates of our Black and brown students, and we recognize that oftentimes they lag in comparison to their counterparts. But what's oftentimes not a part of that conversation, or to a lesser degree, is the subset of that population that we have celebrated here this evening. The subset of that population who emerges as resilient, who emerges as excellent, who demonstrates to us that they will not stop, regardless of what they encounter. And so it gives me great pleasure to close our evening by recognizing these phenomenal students, by asking each and every one of you, when you go back to your dorms, when you go back to your classes as you prepare to take your finals, right? That you take this moment with you. You remember that this is bigger than you. You remember that when you demonstrate leadership, it is you demonstrating that you care about those beyond yourself. It is you demonstrating that you care about the upward mobility of all the marginalized communities represented in our campus community and otherwise. And don't forget that. So with that, thank you. Thank you each for being here. And thank you to our donors, our sponsors, and all those who donated here this evening. If you donated online, thank you, thank you, thank you. I would like to quickly recognize our gold sponsor, the William J. Hughes Center for Public Policy. Our silver sponsor, the Council of Black Faculty and Staff. Our bronze sponsors, Mr. Nathaniel Gary and Dr. Christopher Katchen. And last but certainly not least, our community partner sponsors, Dr. Joanna Johnson, Dr. Zornitsa Kalabatseva, and the law offices of John J. Zarek. Thank you all so much for being a part of this special evening, the inaugural Equity and Academic Achievement Awards dinner and fundraiser. Please note that there is dinner for you. Grab and go. We know COVID, we can't sit around round tables as we would love to. But we did prepare some meals for you, and you can grab those on your way out. If you go straight to the back, that classroom with the lights in it is waiting for you. You will see Alex waving at us. If you head back that way, please grab your dinner before you leave. And thank you once again for joining us.